Good man, we outside looking at the skyline, flowing with the breeze as it flows through the leaves. We just watching time fly.
What up, world? It's your boy JusRzd, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Soul, a podcast where we talk about music, we discuss life, we discuss faith, we discuss freedom, we just discuss anything we really want to talk about. It's not really a podcast, but it's kind of like a podcast, but it's neither here nor there. It's free soul to the soul free. But last episode, I talked about my musical influences. Just a little bit. I gave my top 5 musical influences. This episode, I kind of wanted to keep it on music again. And I wanted to actually talk about albums in 2024. I wanted to talk about my personal top 3 albums, some top albums in CHH, some top albums in regular hip hop, and just albums in general. The art of making albums seems like it's starting to rear its head again. It kind of been hit or miss for me the last few years. But as far as like really like solid bodies of work, it's been a lot of like dope collection of singles that people have thrown together for albums, but there's also been dope bodies of work put forth by certain artists as well. So I wanted to do this episode just about albums, and shout out to everybody who's dropping music this year. Shout out to everybody who has dropped this year. Now I know there's some stuff that dropped recently within the last few weeks. Haven't really been able to tap in, been dealing with a lot of personal things, a lot of family loss and issues and stuff like that. So pray for your boy and my family. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into it. First, we're gonna go honorable mention, and then we're gonna go with the list. But
Breaking news.
You already know it's your boy JusRzd, and I'm coming to you today to let you know that this Friday, I'm talking about this Friday, we got a brand new single dropping titled Still Cruisin'.
Cruise slow, the windows low. Cruise slow, the windows low. Cruise slow, the windows low. Cruise slow. They say that time waits for no man, so we take this life by the wheel with both hands. Always breaking bad when this life gets hard, but just chill, be still knowing that he's gone.
Like I said, this particular song is so smooth, it's so cold, it's such a vibe, something you could really ride out to. I'm not even gonna hold you, as you can tell from the snippet that we just played. However, it's really a song about slowing down, not getting caught up with trying to keep up with the Jones and trying to fly through life and hurry up and get caught up doing the different things that we want to accomplish, but just really enjoying the journey, enjoying the process of life, and taking our time and sit back and relaxing and just enjoying the journey and the process that God has us going through. And it's just really about appreciating the moment, like just appreciating the journey and just being present in the moment and enjoying life for where you're at and the blessings that you have so far, and even acknowledging the blessings that you have. So it's the first time that me and the homie, the Virginia legend himself, no pun intended, no pun intended, Legend on a record. I've known Legend for like at least 10 to 12 years. It has to be at least 10 to 12 years at this point. It's the first time we ever collabed on a record. We've done shows together, we've performed together, we've done so many things together since I've known him. Such a good dude, such a good father, such a good husband, he has such a passion for people and for seeing them overcome whatever situation that may be weighing on them. And yeah, man, me and him linked up for this particular record, and it's finally coming out. I know he's hype. I'm hype. Don't forget to tap in. The link will be in the description, so you ain't got to go looking for it for real. It's going to be in the description, so you can find it. So tap in with your boy, and never forget, it's free soul to the soul free. Let's get it. But the honorable mentions for albums for me, definitely got to throw Jared Sanders in there for Talk to Me Nice. Definitely got to throw in 350. Both of them are in the CHH space. Both of them dropped solid bodies of work. So did No Big Deal. No Big Deal. His album was actually really good. And I'm trying to think of who else dropped that I really rock with. Shout out to the 99 boys and A.O. Shamir. Both of their projects that they've dropped up until this point have been fire. The Judas project, fire. Just a whole lot of lyricism. A whole lot of lyricism. If anybody knows me, they know I love great lyricism and songwriting. I'm always a big fan. Anytime I could turn on a record, vibe out, possibly learn something, or just hear some new cadences, some new wordplay, some new metaphors, and I'm all for it. So honorable mention to them. Shout out to Mike Teasy. He's another one who dropped a solid album this year. It's funny because the differences between, I'm noticing a lot of people going the EP route and singles route, but there are still people compiling solid bodies of work. And so I wanted to give a shout out to those honorable mentions. And also, do I want to do that? Or do I want to go with 5? Yeah, I'm not sure. I was gonna try to get. Actually, I'm gonna go with 5. I'm gonna go with 5. But for this particular list that we got going on right here, I'm gonna start with number 5. Number five for me on solid albums this year. So far. We're only in September right now, and I still haven't even been able to tap into September's catalog of releases just yet. But number 5, I'm gonna go with Alcott, What's a Man to Do. Album was phenomenal. I heard it early, so I heard it before anybody else did. Album was fire. Wordplay crazy. Alcott is a beast lyrically. His cadences and flows are just unmatched. You know what I mean? Like, his cadences and flows are top tier, and they're steadily growing, man. Shout out to the homie Alcott. What's a Man to Do? Fire album, fire features, fire song structures, storytelling, lyrical ability, hooks. It was a dope experience. That's my number 5. My number 4. I gotta give it to Dear Silas. Dear Silas' album, I want to say it was Pink Cadillac Leather, Hot Pink Cadillac Leather, or something like that. But I could have the name wrong. But I'll fix it in post. But Dear Silas, that album's fire. Now, I will say I like the last album a little bit more than I liked this album. But as far as 2024. It's still a very cohesive, vibey, solid body of work. I love listening to Dear Silas because not only his lyrical ability, but the way he presents ideas on wax, and the way he gets super creative with the inflection and tone in his voices and deliveries and the melodies. He'll spit like a hot 4 to 8 bars, and then in the middle of him spitting the hot 4 to 8 bars, he'll bust out in some harmonies and some song and some singing, and it's just like, yo, this dude is all over the place, but it's such a vibe that it's just a beautiful experience. I can't even hold you. It's such a beautiful experience. And so, like I said, my number 4 gotta go to Dear Silas. Number 3 might surprise you. My top 5 gonna be all over the place, just to let you know. But number 3 might surprise you. It might surprise you. I'm gonna give number 3 to Tyler. Tyler's self-titled album was very, 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 very well produced. Very well produced. The songs were written very well. The production was phenomenal. Her execution, her vocal range, her vocal ability. It was like if pop and Afro beats kind of came together, had a baby. it would be Tyler. Like if Pop and Afro Beats came together and had a baby, it would be Tyler's album. And it was like I said, very well produced. Songwriting was dope. The execution was fire. The features were well placed. It was just a good time, an easy listen. It was a dope debut for her. For her specifically to step out on the scene, it was a dope debut, album-wise. Because, she came out with Water. Water took off on TikTok and everything and all the other places. And it was just like, yo, is she just another TikTok sensation where she's got a solid 15 to maybe 45-second clip of a record that's going crazy? Or does she have sustainability? And I feel like with this album, she kind of proved that, yo, I'm here to stay type situation. So it's like, at the end of the day, number 3 for me, my personal number 3. Number 2, this one was special. This album was super duper special. Rhapsody's Please Don't Cry. I don't hear enough people talking about this album. This album was phenomenal. Talking about cinematic storytelling, lyricism on another level, because it's Rhapsody. I mean, lyricism is gonna always go crazy with raps. So man, such a beautifully illustrated piece of art that was just executed so well, from beginning to end. Every song, every sample, all the production, like I said, the lyricism on another level. It's Rhapsody. I mean, what else do you expect? But at the end of the day, I love the way she executed the vision for this project. You really get to see an in-depth kind of like look at her life as a person and as an artist through this album. And it was emotional. It was lyrical. It was cinematic. Like, it was just like strap in and just enjoy the ride. And it was beautifully executed. So I gotta go Rhapsody at number 2. And my number 1 album, there's no possible way on God's green earth that anybody is going to take this spot away from this album. There's no possible way on God's green earth anybody's gonna take the number 1 spot for me outside of this album, and that is Swoop's We Go On. That's my number 1 album so far this year. Such a beautifully crafted deep dive on grief. It's rare. It's super rare that you ever see like an artist just kind of like deep dive on a very specific topic. I've seen it with when people do it with like relationships on like the R&B side. Like, I'm gonna do an album focused on relationships and we're gonna deep dive into relationships. Cool. Relationships, that's a broad thing, because you can do friendships, you can do a lot of different things, but grief is very specific, and it's something that everybody deals with. Everybody deals with grief. Everybody is faced with it at one point in time in life. We lose people. People die every day, B. People die every day, B. So we're always faced with grief. We're always faced with the realization of losing people, because nobody's immortal. Everybody's gonna eventually be up out of here and going on to meet them. Now, whether you stay with them or not, that's a different story. But you're gonna at least go ahead and meet them. But that's neither here nor there. Grief is something that everybody face and that everybody is faced with, and just having a deep dive of an album on that subject, having John O speak throughout the different cuts of the album, having him just like giving dope metaphors and soliloquies and similes and just dope just dope visualizations of like comparisons on how to deal with grief and just lessons on how to deal with grief, and just it was such a beautiful album. Now, for those who don't know, Swoop, within I want to say the last few years, lost his mother. His mother was a very important person in his life, and you can tell he loved his mother. You can tell he was going through the process of grieving his mother, and this album, just him even being able to talk about grief as eloquently as he did on each record and on throughout the whole project, and just bringing in other people who've experienced loss and experienced grief, and having them tell their stories about how they miss their mom still, and just these, oh man, from I miss my mom to these tears, just the different records, man. I remember playing this record. It's such a beautiful experience of a record. Like, if I could find the vinyl for it, I'd buy it. And I don't even have nothing to play vinyl on. Like, that's how beautiful that's how beautiful this album was. Like, for me, I know back in 2010, I lost my mother. I was 21 years old. She died in my arms, and it was very tragic. Very tragic. It took me years grieving my mother, and even still to this point. Like today, it can be times where a wave of grief will hit, or memory will hit, and I'll shed a tear here, or I have to get myself together real quick, and just kind of just let it pass, and just let it do what it does, and then just move on to the next thing. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We all deal with grief in many different ways. So this album was just beautiful. Beautifully constructed. The way everything was pieced together and came together to deliver such a beautiful message about grief was just unmatched, and it touched my heartstrings. I remember listening to this album. I was pulling up to work when it first dropped. It dropped, I want to say, at the top of this year. I was pulling up to work, press play on the record, and I remember getting to I want to say it's These Tears, then I Miss My Mom, or I Miss My Mom and then These Tears. All I know is I had to turn it off. I'm sitting in the parking lot of my job, getting ready to go in, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't listen to it. I'm talking about full tears. I was like, I gotta stop. I gotta stop, because what is happening? We not about to walk into work with the full tears? Nah. We not doing that. Nah. So I had to wait till I got off work to listen to the joint again, and was just let the emotion just pour out. And I love that album. Like, that album stays in rotation to this day. Probably will continue to stay in rotation for a long time for me personally. We Go On by Swoop. Man. Such a beautiful record, such a beautiful album. As somebody who lost their mother at a young age, like, bruh, it spoke to my soul, dog. It spoke to my soul. And I just want to say thank you, Swoop, for that album. Thank you, John O, for the concept of that album. And yeah, keep doing great work. keep doing great work, fellas, because man, it was beautiful. So for me, that's my top 5 albums of 2024 so far. I'll probably do another one at the top of 2025 or towards the end of 2024 to discuss overall for the year what my top 5 albums are. But so far, that's my top 5. And yeah, nobody's taking Swoop's spot for number 1. Just throwing that out there. But let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about the my top 5 albums for 2024. If you have any suggestions, maybe something that what's your top 5? Put it in the comments. What's your top 5 albums for 2024? Put that in the comments. And if you have any suggestions, or if you have any issues with my list, let's chop it up in the comments. You know what I mean? If you haven't heard any of these projects, please put them on your please put them in your playlist, because all 5 of these projects are fire. So yeah, if you have any like I said, any suggestions or in your top 5, or you have any thoughts on this top 5, drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, hit that notification bell so we can be notified anytime that we drop a video. You can be notified, and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue to build the community. We're almost at 300 subscribers, trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. But let's see how that goes. The fact that I'm able to be consistent up until this point, hey, is a blessing from the Lord. So yeah, man, tap in with your boy. Let's argue respectfully in the comments on top 5 albums this year so far. Like I said, I haven't made it to September's catalog, so if anything has dropped in September so far, I haven't had a chance to listen to it just yet. But from January up to August, I pretty much I've tapped in for the most part. There's still some stuff I probably missed, but drop it in the comments below if you have a suggestion that could possibly enter in that top 5. What's your top 5? I would like to see it in the comments below. And never forget, it's FreeSoul. It's so free. Let's get it.